Hello ladies and gentlefish, my name is John Deftones, and welcome to a very special episode of How I Met My Arms Dealer. Today we're going to be talking about Sig Sauer, more specifically their recent social media spurgout surrounding their P320 line of handguns. For those of you who aren't very gun savvy or simply don't have the kind of autistic interest in them that I do, Sig Sauer has been producing firearms since before your great-great-grandparents were even born. And for almost 200 years, they've remained at the forefront of the industry alongside other big names such as Colt, Remington, and Winchester, just to name a few. While I've never owned a Sig product myself, I have had the opportunities to shoot an M18 and an M4 Tread, which were both enjoyable experiences and definitely gave me good first impressions of the brand. Unfortunately, good impressions don't mean anything when you find out that one of the biggest weapon manufacturers of the 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries is blatantly lying about serious product defects. Since its debut in 2014, the P320 has been the focal point of numerous controversies and lawsuits, usually revolving around drop safety issues and a general risk of the gun discharging without any pressure being applied to the trigger. While the average handgun is designed for optimal user safety even in the event that someone decides to give it to Butterfingers, Sig Sauer appears to be a little behind on the times and really wants to die on the hill that these so-called drop safety issues are entirely on the shooter and that absolutely nobody has managed to successfully replicate them. Which is a complete and utter lie.
Hello, I am a Sig Sauer representative here to disprove the lies and slander about our glorious firearms. The P320 cannot, under any circumstance, discharge without a trigger pull. That is a fact. The allegations against the P320 are nothing more than individuals seeking to profit or avoid personal responsibility. Recently, anti-gun groups, members of the mainstream media, trial attorneys, and other uninformed and agenda-driven parties have launched attacks on one of Sig Sauer's most trusted, most tested, and most popular products, the P320 pistol. In all cases, these individuals have an ulterior motive behind their baseless allegations that the P320 can fire without a trigger pull. They have no evidence, no data, and no empirical testing to support any of their claims. They instead choose to misrepresent clear, negligent discharges as a design problem.
You know, if I designed a handgun that had the propensity to turn on its owner and receive justified backlash for my awful design philosophy, the last thing I would think to do is jump on social media and double down. And especially when there's hours upon hours of video evidence demonstrating the dangers of said design philosophy. I mean, sure, you can keep telling yourself that the P320 isn't defective, and that anyone who claims to have had one go off without human intervention is either lying or stupid, but I don't suppose that's going to make things any better for you in the long run. And in fact, it might actually make things a little bit worse. Just a little bit. Fast forward about a week later and they drop another banger. This time celebrating a lawsuit dismissal in Puerto Rico. That's all fine and dandy, but there's just one small problem. It wasn't dismissed because the gun was deemed to be safe or that the plaintiff was lying or anything. It's because the plaintiff's attorney missed a deadline. Even still, the dismissal of this case doesn't change the fact that they're openly peddling blatant lies about the reliability and safety of their product, and despite the mountains of evidence pointing towards a potentially fatal design flaw, the most they could do is get one of their social media interns to spend 35 minutes typing up an unnecessarily verbose "nuh-uh" for them to post on Twitter, which is exactly the kind of cartoonishly ass-backwards mental gymnastics you would expect from a Borderlands character. In conclusion, whether the P320 is really a defective piece of junk or Sig is right and everyone that has one seems to be suffering from chronic skill issues is apparently a mystery. But one thing's for certain, if you were considering buying one before watching this video, I would strongly caution against it due to a laundry list of safety concerns that they don't seem very willing to acknowledge right now. And honestly, I wouldn't buy anything from a firearms manufacturer actively trying to gaslight the public, but hey, maybe that's just me. With that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and hit the subscribe button for more high quality bangers like this one. If you'd like to support the channel and contribute to a bright future for a bright individual, consider donating to my Ko-fi page. Making these videos takes a lot of time and hard work, and while I'm not saying you're obligated to chip in, because you're not, any and all support is greatly appreciated, and if I can save up enough money over time, I'll be able to make more content related to traveling, shooting, and other things that unfortunately aren't free. It also means I'll be able to afford basic human necessities like food, water, atmosphere.
Nobody goes to a restaurant for atmosphere.
If you're looking to expand your social group beyond that homunculus you've got growing in the pizza box next to your mating mattress, come check out my official Discord server. It's an incredibly welcoming and colorful community through which you're sure to meet plenty of high IQ individuals with humor beyond your comprehension. For the most part, I try to keep my community as inclusive as possible, but there are Some exceptions. Oh, right, and one last thing before you go. If you're going to drive by and yell at somebody who's out walking, you should probably roll the window down before you open your mouth. That way they can actually hear that awesome playground insult you spent 6 hours coming up with.